What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And before we get into this Flyers recap, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. We are very close to the 400 sub count, so if you're a new viewer to this channel, definitely I recommend hitting that sub button. If you want to catch up on all the latest Philadelphia sports news, recaps, and events, definitely recommend subbing here to TTP Sports. And if you're a long-time viewer, which I'm also very grateful for being a long-time sub of this channel, you're very crazy for doing that, but I'm grateful for it. Definitely recommend just reaching it out there to everyone. Let's grow this channel together, get over the 400 sub count, and continue to grow from there. So let's get into the business at hand. The Philadelphia Flyers get a great win on the road, their first road game, and of course your first road trip is probably the toughest it can ever be. You're going to Western Canada, Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary in that order, and you get the first win here on the road trip in Edmonton against Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the Oilers. You basically steal the game because I'd say for the first two periods, well, maybe I would say a period and a half, halfway through the first, mostly the entire second period, I would say Edmonton was better than you this entire game. But that third period by the Flyers, much needed. It was a great third period. They were the better team throughout the entire pace. They shut down the Oilers. They kept them to the outside. They were transitioning through the neutral zone. And hell, Cam Atkinson is such a beauty. Cam Atkinson. Man, what a pickup by Chuck Fletcher. What a goddamn pickup. He has been amazing for this team, scoring so many goals to start the season. He has been amazing. 6 goals in the first 5 games for the Flyers. He has been on a tear to start this season. And honestly, the Brassard line, I don't think they played their best tonight, being paired up against Connor McDavid's line. They got outplayed. But hey, they still found their way onto the score sheet. I'm not going to hem them for playing against Connor McDavid. I feel like any player, any line that goes out against Connor McDavid is most likely going to get torched for a couple of points by that line. It's Connor McDavid, for crying out loud. He is the best player in hockey for a reason. But still, to find a way to get 2 goals in this game and a couple of points by Cam Atkinson, well, 2 goals basically. You also get an assist for Derek Brassard. More than enough. Claude Giroux stepping up once again, continuing his hot start to the season. Getting a couple of goals here and there. You get the 4th line chipping in. And then maybe, you get away with one with the empty net on Sean Couturier's. Was it offside? Was it too close to tell? I think it was really way too hard to tell just because of the angles that they were giving you. The overhead angle really just showcased nothing. And the side angle from the side that showed connecting, you really had no idea where that puck was. Because it was just so far away, you really just could not tell where that puck was. So it was just one of those instances where it was just not conclusive. And the play on the call on the ice was goal, so they went with the call on the ice. So no offside. Sean Couturier gets the empty netter. That's his second of the season. And you win this game, 5-3. Carter Hart played a really good game. Maybe some of the goals he gave up early in the game were maybe the one I probably more have the problem with is the Tyson Barrie goal. He went down way too early, gave him way too much net up top, and he allowed him to bury it. That was really maybe the only one I really had an issue with. But Carter Hart, after allowing that first goal early into the second period, he was lights out the rest of the way. I think he stopped the next 22, 23 shots from the Oilers. So Carter Hart really stepped up in his hometown tonight, which is very nice to see, especially in your first road game. So just, honestly, the Flyers didn't play their best game. They didn't. This kind of reminds me a little bit of, I would say, the Boston Bruins game last week. Boston, they played a lot better than the Flyers for most of the game, but the Flyers saved their best for last. They remained to the Oilers, I would say, kept the Flyers lit. They let the Flyers hang around. And honestly, the Oilers never led in this game at all. They never led. It was basically only tied for their standpoint. They tied it at 2-2, then they tied it 3-3. So the Flyers were basically, they had the lead a couple of times. They basically were the only team with the lead in this game, but I still felt like the Oilers were outplaying them. The Flyers were just opportunistic, especially early in this game. Claude Giroux on the wraparound and the turnover by Koskinen on a Nate Thompson goal, basically just a net scramble at that point. So the Flyers, especially early in the game, Edmonton was terrible behind their net, and the Flyers were taking advantage of that, and that's how they scored their first 2 goals. And they really just weren't good. Koskinen was shaky. They were turning the puck over in their own zone, and especially on that Atkinson goal, basically right after Edmonton ties it late on the power play, Connor McDavid, basically you really can't, I wouldn't blame Carter Hart on this one. It goes off Justin Braun's stick, so it was basically just a lucky goal. McDavid was going to pass the puck, it goes off Braun's stick, and it was just an unlucky bounce at that point, so the game ties at 2. But the play by Darnell Nurse, what the hell is he doing? The Flyers win the face-off. They put it into the Edmonton zone. Darnell Nurse is trying to flum the puck down. He really just can't do anything, right? It's bouncing in front of him, and then here comes Cam Atkinson at all people, just whacks at the puck and puts it by Koskinen with 0.6 seconds left in the period? What the hell are you doing, Nurse? That's a terrible play. You can't let that happen. You cannot let that happen if you're Darnell Nurse. You cannot end the period like that. But hey, Flyers will take it. Cam Atkinson will take it, and that's how you end the period. You go up 3-2. But still, early in this period as well. I keep saying early in the game, too. It's not early in the game. It's the first period, for crying out loud. But you did get into penalty trouble, especially in this third period. Really early to start the game, Rasmus Ristolainen taking a high sticking penalty on Zach Hyman. Okay, you kill that penalty off. Then Cam Atkinson, he takes a tripping penalty. You kill that penalty off. But then Zach McEwen, just a really dumb boarding penalty at the end of the first period, and that's the penalty or power play that Connor McDavid scores on. But still, I do give credit to the penalty kill today. Edmonton, they are dangerous on the power play, and to only allow one power play goal against the Oilers, this penalty kill has been really stepping up, especially allowing 7 penalties against Florida on Saturday, and you killed 6 of those, and you killed 3 of these tonight. But still, you gotta be disciplined. I know a lot of people want to call these penalties soft, and especially, I know the cross-checking, because I know they called it high sticking, but there was an instance where it was cross-checking. I do believe, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was the Ristolainen one that looked like a cross-check, but they called it a high stick, and they're really trying to enforce the cross-check this year, especially. I know, even if it's a little, shove, they're going to try to call that every day of the week. I know a lot of people were calling these penalties soft, especially the McEwen one, the connecting one later in the game, and the connecting one was just so stupid. I know some people want to call it soft, but you just can't risk that at the end of the game. It's just a dumb penalty to take, especially when you're up 4-3 late. You shouldn't be taking that kind of risk. Connor McDavid forces Travis Konecny to take a penalty in his own zone. That's what happens. But you took 3 penalties in the first period. They scored on 1. You still managed to escape that period with the lead. Claude Giroux, Nate Thompson, and Cam Atkinson get your goals. Tyson Perry with the goal that was, the one I want Carter Hart to maybe play a little better on, not go down way too early. And the Connor McDavid goal was just a lucky bounce going off of Justin Braun's stick. But you still managed to get out of this first period with a lead. But you go right into the second period. Flyers can't clear the zone, and it turns into a one-timer from Jesse Puljujarvi to Zach Hyman. Goes by Carter Hart, just trickles through. He does get a piece of it, but I blame this more on the Flyers not being able to clear the defensive zone, so it turns into a tied game early on in this second period. And surprisingly, no penalties were called, but this period was just basically all Oilers. The Flyers couldn't get chances. They had trouble getting the puck out of the zone. Carter Hart having to make some big saves. But this was all Edmonton. Flyers had basically no chances going the other way. Maybe they had one. I think their best chance was Joel Farabee. What a nice breakout pass coming up the left side. Just a nice glove save by Koskinen. But that was basically all the chances I would say the Flyers had in that second period. There was really nothing going for them. Edmonton had it in the zone the entire time. Thank goodness there was no power plays. The Flyers did keep a lot of the plays to the outside, but still the Oilers kept it in the zone way too long. But you survived that period. You get out of it only tied. But Ristolainen, he doesn't come back at the start of the third period because at the end of the second period, a little bit of deflection, I think it was Leon Draisaitl, shot the puck into his stick, and it goes right off the cheekbone right here, and you see the blood coming out of him going onto his visor. He can't get off the ice because the Oilers have possession in the zone, so basically he's being a soldier at that point, just trying to hang in there. And also, speaking of Rasmus Ristolainen, this was in the first period of this game. There was a play where I have no idea what he was doing in the neutral zone. He was fumbling with the puck. The Flyers were on a line change. Here comes Connor McDavid going right by him, turns into a 2-on-1. It didn't result in a goal because I think Puljujarvi missed the net, but still, that was just a bad play by Ristolainen. And even though I don't think he had a terrible game, it's those big mistakes that can come to haunt you in the end, and he needs to be way better. And I've been more of a defender of Ristolainen just because he's been on Buffalo, but still, it's only a couple of games into his season. I'm not going to harp on him that much, but still, if this becomes really more frequent, it's going to be an issue. Hopefully, he could find a way to fix that, but still, for guys like Justin Braun, with Ryan Ellis out of the lineup, I know really the only mistake Braun had was the deflection on the McDavid goal, and Braun, honestly, that's not his fault. That's just an unlucky bounce. Braun stepped up tonight, especially, and even Provorov, they played a really good game. They did. So, but Sealer had a weak game. Yandel really wasn't noticeable out there, but Braun and Provorov really had a good game out there, keeping guys to the outside. They managed to get the pucks out of the zone. They had a really nice game from that pairing, which is really nice to see Braun stepping up in the absence of Ryan Ellis, and hopefully we can get Ryan Ellis back tomorrow in Vancouver, but I'm not sure what is going to happen yet. So we go into that third period, and the Flyers look like they have a different jump to them. They're getting possession, they're getting the puck into the offensive zone, and this is a nice turnover in the neutral zone. Braun, it starts with Justin Braun. He brings the puck up to Derek Brassard. They're playing 2-on-1 with Cam Atkinson here. 3-on-2 rush for that line. Brassard over to Atkinson, and Atkinson just winds up, claps it, goes 5-hole past Koskinen, a terrible goal to allow for him. And honestly, when I look on the replay, I don't even think Atkinson got all of this. That's just my honest opinion. He might have, but from the way the replay looked, it just didn't look like he got all of it, and Koskinen just missed it. Missed it 5-hole, and you can't do that? But hey, I'll take it any day of the week. And the Flyers go up 4-3 early in the third period, and they're getting chances. Claude Giroux, not that long after, had a beautiful pass off the stick of Scott Lawton. Claude Giroux just directed it wide of the net. Scott Lawton also had a very nice chance on a breakaway. Oscar Lindblom had a nice chance as well. So the Flyers, they looked a lot different in this period, especially. They were getting chances. They were hemming the Oilers in their own zone. They were playing a third period to win. They came out in this third period saying, hey, we win this period, we win this game. And that's exactly the way they were playing. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. They draw an early penalty as well. They were getting looks on this power play. They didn't score, but the power play looked good. The power play has been looking a lot better. Even though they didn't score on the power play in this game, they were getting setups. They're getting their chances. The puck's going to go in eventually, even though their power play actually has been better this year. I think it's ranked in the top 5 to start the season, which is very surprising. But honestly, I wasn't expecting that, but still, the Flyers' power play, it looked good today, but that third period especially has been really good. But the Oilers, they also got their chances, especially later in this game. Carter Hart having to come up huge, and I mean huge. Konechny getting chances, but then Konechny eventually later in this period takes that interference call on Connor McDavid. Carter Hart having to make this big stop on Leon Draisaitl's one-timer, and then eventually then turns into a net mount scramble a couple of seconds later, and he manages to cover the puck. So the penalty kill coming up huge, Carter Hart coming up big, but then you knew that jump was eventually going to come by the Oilers later in the game when they pull Koskinen for that extra attacker, and it came. And the Flyers, they played it very well. They managed to find the puck. They managed to get it out of the zone, even though there were so many instances where they iced the puck, which was very goddamn annoying. Travis Konechny just, I know he's on the end of a shift, but you need to get to the red line at least. You can't be trying to Hail Mary it down to the empty net. If you're that tired, you shouldn't be trying to do that. Get to the red line, dump it in there. If you hit the empty net, you hit the empty net, but get it to the red line so you don't force that icing. But for some reason, on that icing, Edmonton decided to call a timeout, which was very confusing because you had that line on the ice for like 3-4 straight icings. But hey, I'm not the Oilers. I'm not the one that makes the decisions there. So they get the timeout. Flyers win the faceoff once again, and then eventually it turns into Sean Couturier bearing it into the empty net, review it for offside, inconclusive, and the Flyers win this game. Played a much better third period, and I thank them for that, because the second period really wasn't pretty. It was I would say half and half first period, but that third period they played it to win, and they managed to win this game 5-3, which I can really thank them for. Shots in this game 37-34 in total in favor of Edmonton. First period 12 shots to 13 in favor of Edmonton, 12-6 in the second period for Edmonton, but then the Flyers outshot the Oilers 16-12 in the third period. Your stars in this game, Cam Atkinson, first star. He definitely deserves that first star. Tyson Barrie for the Oilers is the second star, and Carter Hart is your third star in this game. And just looking at the points in this game, Claude Giroux, Konechny, Couturier, they all got a couple of points in this game. Giroux actually gets 2 points on his goal and the Couturier empty netter. Braun gets a couple of points in this game. We got the fourth line chipping in there. Thompson getting his first goal. Albie Kubel getting his first point of the season. And you got Cam Atkinson doing his thing. It's really nice to see. Definitely really nice to see there. So you get your first win on the road, which is huge. From the way it was played, it definitely was going to be sloppy. You had a couple of days off. It's your first road trip, and on the West Coast especially. You get the first win. But now you got a game tomorrow night against the Vancouver Canucks, which is still weird in my opinion. I know I'm going to end this video in a little bit, but this is something that's just weird to me. Why would you do a back-to-back in Edmonton, then Vancouver? Why not do a back-to-back in Edmonton and Calgary? That's just weird because Edmonton and Calgary are in the same province. So why are they... I'm not sure if I want to look at Calgary's schedule, possibly. Maybe that will explain why they don't play the game on, I would say, Thursday, or the back-to-back in Calgary. Maybe they don't play at home, or maybe they are on the road this week before this weekend. So I definitely want to check Calgary's schedule. Yeah, Calgary is on the road. That's why the Flyers aren't playing a back-to-back against the Flames. Yeah, the Calgary, they play in Pittsburgh tomorrow. So, yeah, that's the reason. It was just something that was weird to me. It was just like, okay, Edmonton, Vancouver. That's a weird back-to-back. And then you play Calgary on Saturday. It was just weird, in my opinion. It's something that I'm just nitpicking at that point. But still, you get your first win on your first road game. That's the most important thing. And now you got a back-to-back tomorrow. Find a way to get another 2 points. You got Martin Jones is going to be the starter tomorrow. So let's see what the Flyers can do then. So what are your thoughts on this game, everyone? What are your thoughts on the Flyers' performance against the Oilers? And what are your thoughts going forward for this team? I want to definitely hear your comments in the comment section down below, as always. So don't forget to leave those down there. Do not forget to drop a like on this video. Do not forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Flyer.pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I'll greatly appreciate that, and I will see you next time.